My self-guided pianist community members posted a question/comment about the difficulty he's having with memorizing this particular prelude by JS.BACH. It's such a simple but beautiful piece, but I totally agree. It's hard to memorize it. So I wanted to kind of break it down and give you some tips on how to play this from memory, how to memorize it. And I'm hoping that some of these tips can transfer to other pieces so that you can share more music with other people, even if you happen to bring no music with you at a gathering or something. Okay, so let's dive into the Prelude in C major by JS.BACH. Whenever I start working on a piece of music, I like to start with a bird's eye view. So whether a piece of music is 3 minutes long or 30 minutes long, I like to look at the formal structure. And even for a prelude, like just 35 bars long, it doesn't have to be like a full-on theoretical analysis of the piece. It just has to make sense to you so that you can somehow cognitively organize it in your head. Pretty sure you've had the experience of having to, like phone numbers, if you're having to memorize like 10 digits, why are they divided into 3 chunks, like 3 numbers, and 4 numbers? Because when you have things organized that way, it's easier for you to memorize. It's organized so that you can memorize them. So the same thing, it's good to start with a big picture. And if you have no theoretical background, then you can start by listening to music, because good performers will always articulate that formal structure with like expressive tools like timing and colors of the sound, dynamics. But you can, if you still have no idea how to divide it, just start with 2 or 3. Can you divide it into 2 sections or 3 sections? And for this prelude, I would divide it into 3 sections. The first section goes from bar 1 to bar 11. This is the section where Bach starts from home, the key of C major, and then goes away from home. Bar 12 to bar 23, that's when he's away from home and he's kind of like exploring. So you see very little of C major chord. And then at the end, this is when he's trying to return to home, the key of C major, but there is a little bit of resistance. So there is this pedal point from bar 14, G, it's the dominant of the key of C major. You can just think of this away from home, and there is emphasis on this G, repeating G in the bass line. 3 major sections, I am dividing it. Bar 1 to 11, home to away from home. Bar 12 to bar 23 is exploring away from home, so you're like on a trip. And then bar 24 to the end, that's coming back home. There's a little bit of resistance. And finally, we end in the key of C major. So you can think of it like that. Okay, so now I'm going to play it for you, but the pattern is uniform throughout from the beginning to the end. So what I want to isolate is the harmonic motion. Harmony is what you have to memorize, because rhythm, if you can play the first 4 bars, you've got it, right? And then voicing, there is like not that much, there's zero variation, right? So it's just the pedal, the bass, and then with another tenor voice, and then the soprano in arpeggiated chord. So harmonic motion is the stumbling block to your memorization, right? So I'm going to isolate that, and how I'm going to do that is by playing this in the chorale style. I'm going to play all of these notes as a chord, and since there is just one chord per bar, right? Like it's repeated, but it's exactly the same chord twice. So I'm going to play this once per bar. And let's see how that sounds. And as you're listening to it, see if you can, the way I'm playing it is articulating the formal structure. So from bar 1 to 11, 12 to 23, 23, and then 24 to the end. And I'll also try to call it out as I go. But I'm playing all of these arpeggiated chords as just a single chord, and then I'm only playing it once per bar. Bar 5, bar 12, bar 24. This is the pedal point in the bass. Because we're not worrying about the rhythm, we're just thinking about this harmonic motion, right? So you're able to concentrate on this harmonic motion as you are listening to this. And also the other thing I'm doing is playing this in a more flowy tempo. If I play this very, very slowly, it's hard to sustain your attention on this single chord until the next one comes. So when you have this learned, try to play this so that you really feel the change in harmony as you go along. And the other thing that you can listen for is this melodic, the top line in your soprano voice. That almost can be a melody. And if you are not yet able to hear all these notes as a harmony in your head, then I think it's a really good starting point to just hear this top line. So now I'm just playing the highest note in each bar as a melody, right? So just one per bar. So try to listen to it not as part of this arpeggiated notes, but try to listen to it like your melody. So that's C sharp, starting from C sharp. Okay, and then from bar 24 to the end, it's rising and then come down. Once you are aware of this line, whether it's harmonic progression or the melodic line, then you want to, when you're actually trying to memorize it, you want to audiate that in your head. So when you're here, you're practicing this in the chorale style like that, like I asked you to. And while you're holding this chord, you're not just stuck here thinking about the C major chord. You must be thinking about the next thing that comes, which is this chord. So if you cannot hear all of these notes while you're holding the C major chord, then that melodic exercise of hearing the top notes as a melody is really helpful, because now you're hearing this top note and you're kind of using that as your anchor point for hearing the rest of the notes. Again, where you're here, you need to be hearing the next chord and then playing it. So hear it and then play it. So it's not just letting your fingers do its work. It's really hard. I mean, this particular piece is really hard for a hard piece to memorize just purely based on your physical memory, because there's just like not that much variations. It's just very, very minimal motion. You're not using bigger muscles. It's just very small movements. I think there are mainly three different types of memory that need to back up each other. So one is physical, one is visual, and one is oral. And for this piece, your oral memory, like how you audiate in your head ahead of where your fingers are, that's going to make or break this memorization. So like I said, while you're holding, next chord needs to be in your head, and then that intention, that hearing, guides your fingers to play it. The last thing that I can say about this is that, we divided it into 3 sections, so let's use that. Don't always start from the very beginning of the piece. When you sit down, don't always start from the beginning. And then as you play this more and more and more, you will realize that there are these 4-bar groups that kind of emerge out of this big section. You will hear these 4-bar groups. This is bar 5. It's like a mini sequence, right? Falling 5th. So that's something that you can remember, right? And then the next 9, 10, 11, that's like a 3-bar group, three-bar phrase. But it's always useful to think of 4-bar groups, sometimes 2 bars plus 2 bars, making a sequence. For example, again, bar 12, 13, right? And then bar 14 to 15. And as you kind of figure out these 4-bar groups and then 2-bar sequences, try to communicate that in music. I believe that the more intensely you feel the music and try to communicate that gets really imprinted in you. So you really digest it and you embody it, and that makes the memorization a lot more natural and a lot easier too. So for example, I might do for bar 12 to 15, maybe more, less, and then a little more, less. So if I exaggerate it, and then after those 4 bars, it's kind of like a downward motion. So I would do a big diminuendo, or not a big diminuendo, just a small diminuendo. I'm not saying that it needs to be dramatic. All I'm saying is that bring out those shapes. They will also help you memorize it better. Right? And here, I feel like the music is getting a little bit more intense, going to the pedal point. So maybe I'll do a little crescendo. And then from here, bar 24, until here, maybe do a crescendo and then gradually come down. So they all work together. Harmonic progression, that was the first thing that we talked about. Maybe hearing these as a melody, finding the 4-bar groups, your sequences, and then shaping them and then communicating them. I think they all work together for a successful performance, but also help you memorize the piece much better. So I hope that you can try these techniques If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. And if you want to join us at the self-guided pianist community, I will also drop the link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.